Well, hello, mamas. Time to talk with Jessie, study with Jessie about your high school senior, your college senior. So, we are focusing on those bucket list items and those school sponsored activities your teen's going to have an option to participate in this last semester that starts very, very soon, maybe even next week for your kiddo. So, mamas, let me know. Are there some things that your teen is hoping to accomplish, some activities to participate in this semester, whether this is something like prom, whether this is something as fun as a get together with friends, whether this is something that's been on the list for a long time and your child is finally ready, finally going to get to do that thing. So if there's something you want to share, I want to hear about it down below. And I also want to welcome you to my Facebook group, Teaching Teens to Love Learning. If you're not already a member, be sure to go to that link in the description and join us after the video. Now, I mentioned some of those school-sponsored activities, so I want to make sure that you're aware. I want to kind of give your teen some thoughts, some pointers on those. So, with spring comes all sorts of big, momentous occasions, no matter if you've got a high school senior or college senior. So, I think there's probably more events on the high school side. So, like I mentioned already, prom, let alone other dances, formals, whatever might be happening, closer to January, because sometimes, there's a whole dance in February, like the Cupid something or other, when the girls ask, so there's that. There's all sorts of different, like, actual senior activities once we get closer to graduation, so actual ceremony, the practice ceremony. I'm struggling to find the word, if it's a baccalaureate or if that's what I'm trying to think of. And then, there might be senior breakfast, senior trips. I mean, there's all sorts of cool things, fun things happening that the school is putting on. There's probably activities after graduation as well. Your teen might even also have things that he's doing with his high school class or with the high school after graduation. So much going on. So my first tip for you all when we're talking about these must-do activities for your high school seniors, I would encourage your teen to really sit down, have a discussion about what the school is providing. What is the school hosting that, is normal? Maybe you've got an older kiddo that's like, yeah, we did this and this and this. Because I got to tell you, for me, sitting down to think about what was my final semester of high school like and talking to a couple friends, a couple family members before we went live, I gotta tell you, sometimes there's a lot. Sometimes it's like, what did we do? So definitely encourage you before the second semester starts, really sit down, bring up like the school website, bring up, school emails, flyers, whatever you have access to that the school is using to communicate with you, mamas. I encourage you and your teen to really figure out, okay, what are my options? Okay. Because your teen can't begin to plan, can't begin to get excited, can't begin to hope and have fun until we really know what are we even looking forward to. Okay. And I will tell you, mamas, the thing that I want you to know, I want your teen to know is, it might seem like there's a lot. There might be a lot of I have to's, a lot of I get to's, a lot of I want to's. Okay. So definitely make sure your teen knows you do not have to do all of these. Okay, if your teen has no interest in this or that, that is okay. Okay, if it's one of those things where it's going to cost a lot of money, it's very optional. Again, okay, if your teen doesn't do it or if you can't do it. Okay, or if it's one of those things, you need this many friends or it's on this day and you have other obligations, that's okay too. Okay, so definitely until we kind of have that discussion, you mamas, with your teens, that's kind of tough. Now, I would also say that's true on the college side of things too. Obviously, like I said, I feel like for me, my college journey was a little different, 2 degrees, 3 years. And so, I kind of went a little faster than most students did. So, was there stuff that happened I don't know about? Yeah, would not be surprised, especially since my family was literally out of the country. So, could have not been top of, importance for me. But just figure out what those options are so you and your teen, you and your about to be college graduate can decide, which activities do you want to do. Okay, so before we talk about bucket list, I want to say thanks for watching here on YouTube. Thanks for watching here on Facebook. So if we are not connected yet with the Ace Cookie Tutoring business page here on Facebook or Ace Cookie Tutoring YouTube channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button, that follow button, So that way you'll catch more videos from me, Jessica Coulter, the CEO and founder of Ace Cookie Tutoring, as I will be talking to you and teaching you about your teens, about their learning, about their study habits. Okay, so bucket list, let's move into that. So if your teen has a bucket list, that's awesome. If not, totally fine. Something I would encourage though, because they got to tell you, not to scare you, not to scare your teens, but do know last semester of college, last semester of high school, that literally has the word last in it. Okay. So this is your teen's last chance to do those things. Okay. If there's a certain someone your teen has been wanting to ask out forever, this is the last chance. Okay. If your teen, has a best friend and, isn't sure you're ever going to go on that trip or do that thing we've been talking about or create this thing or buy this thing or, do this thing, whatever it is, do you know, I mean, I know we'd like it to not be, so unsure, but life happens and, we go separate ways, especially big occasions after graduation. So if your child has a best friend, has a whatever, this is the time to do it. Okay. To do that thing that's been talked about, that's been thought about, have your team take those steps to make it actually happen this semester, because there's unfortunately no guarantees after graduation. Okay. Now, if your teen, doesn't really have a bucket list, there's not something he's burning to do or she's burning to do, that's okay. But at the same time, there can be things that your teen's thinking about that, good or bad mama, you don't know about. So definitely, again, if you've got a great relationship with your teen, you've got that connection, you've got that communication happening, there's no reason you can't sit down again and really hash this out and really, pick something to focus on to see if we can actually make happen to, make this the best last semester possible and the most fun last semester possible. Okay. And, again, if your teen doesn't have something right off, well, again, we got a few days left of Christmas break to really think about it and go, I've never done this, or I've always been curious about, because, that can be the very first question when creating the bucket list. What is something you haven't done in high school that you want to do? Because it could be something, like I said, asking somebody out, it could be hanging out and doing such and such with so-and-so person. It could be going to a dance. It could be going to this sports activity. It could be, talking to such and such teacher or taking such class or joining in such and such club. I mean, the list is endless. Okay. And it can be something school related. It can be something totally not related to school that your teen still wants to do before graduation. So those are my thoughts, my strategies, all about those school sponsored activities, as well as the bucket list activities that your high school senior or even college senior, should consider, should, make plans for going into this last semester. And obviously we talked about kind of the what's and, maybe the whys. Didn't talk so much about the hows. So definitely do know that planning component, that time management component, that organization. Those are study skills I teach. So if you need some help, your teen has some questions, your teen could use some improvement in those areas, let's talk. And better yet, join my Facebook group. So that way I can provide even more guidance and strategies. All you got to do to join me, click the link in the description, answer a couple questions. And when you join the group, I will be giving you my learning style tool guide for high school seniors, high school students in general, let alone college students and college graduates. So definitely something you want to get your hands on. So thanks for watching, mamas. Have a good night, and we'll see you for the next video tomorrow. Bye.